So on the first side, I was taking 30 thousandths cuts, and that's what these chips look like. Very soft, very manageable. Now I'm taking 50 thousandths cut. I'm pushing a little harder. The surface finish is a little better. Not that it matters too much because I'm putting threads on it, but so I bumped it up to another 10 thousandths to 60 thousandths cut now, and you can see that's the kind of chip that I'm looking for right there. All right, so here's the final spring pass that we didn't get last time. And I got it right down close. It's only 3 thousandths we're taking off here. And that's gonna... There's our part. So far. Now I gotta turn the outside diameter. It's supposed to be 7/8, but the hole in the machine is way walled out, so it's going to be a weird, unknown measurement. All right, so here's the old part, here's the new part, and okay, so because this part's so long, I had to put the 3-jaw on and flip the part over. So I'm going to try to blend these two finishes here. Okay, so this should be the final pass. See how well they blend. Not too shabby. All right, so just gonna try our new part. out down in the hole. It's a little tight in there, but it's mostly just junk from down in the hole. But I think it's going to be a nice tight fit once I clean that hole out with a wire brush. Here's our new part, here's our old part. Now on this pin, this part, they have a cotter pin in there, and that's okay. But I think on this one what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn down the outside to match this diameter, but then leave sort of a bigger shoulder on this side with the. So here's our parts. Here's how we're looking. Obviously new and old parts. Rather than have the key the way they have it in this one, I'm just going to leave a shoulder here and just put a knurl on this, and it'll look good, and it'll serve a better purpose to hold it a little nicer in the casting than just that little piece of wire would. So, but yeah, that's how we're looking so far. Okay, so that part is looking pretty good. Alright, so here's our new part, here's our old part, obviously. The only difference is this is a little bigger in diameter and a little longer. It's got a longer shoulder so that the pedal will no longer rub on the raw casting. It'll rub on the shoulder of this pin. And yeah, it should last a good long time. Okay, so here's our old part, here's our new part. The old part used to be very sloppy in this in the casting here, and I'd just like to show you how this new part is going to work. Okay, so the new part's going to go in from this side. The knurled end is on this side, obviously, and it's just going to go in there like that. Then before, the inside of this fork used to just rub on the inside of this casting. It was just tight against that. So I left a shoulder on this part for this machined hole to ride on in there. So instead of being on the raw casting now, we're gonna put a couple of washers. So then the fork's going to go on over top of that, and then we're going to put a washer on the outside of this, so, and now we can put our nut, and if you hold on this side of the machine part, it's knurled, so you can tighten this as tight as you want or as loose as you want, but you can see there's relatively no play left in this fork. It used to be all over the place. Now It's going to be axially stable and sagittally stable as well. And then just over top of this, you can put a lock nut. Once you get your tension set the way you want it, Mike, that'll be a much better part for that. So that's pretty much done. I think I may drill and tap these for a set screw, I'm not sure. Okay, so just going to go ahead and put this part on now. Remember, I left this a little long, just a little bit, 1/8 of an inch on each side. So there's a lot of slack left in there because those lock washers aren't pinched yet, but that's going to be that part. So it's going to be something like that. So that part is done. All right, guys, just set up the weld here. Just squared off, clamped up, and okay, so just got the motor squared up here off of this edge, and what I'm going to do now is just transfer the lines from where those studs are that hold the motor on onto these plates to locate the nuts that are going to be welded on there. Okay, got those holes drilled, now we're just going to tap them. This is going to be an 832 thread. So just a little 832 locking screw. This is what's going to hold the bolt and lock it in place. All right, just gonna re-chase these threads since we drilled and tapped that hole. All right, so just got everything prepped here to weld and squared off. So these are in line now with the slots. And yeah, gonna go ahead and throw some weld in here. Okay, so I'm just gonna machine the end of this bolt here. I'm going to, this is about 490 thousandths, give or take, major diameter here. And I'm gonna take it down to 375, so I gotta take out 115 thousandths, about a half inch in. So I'm just gonna put face it, and then put a chamfer on it. So that's one. Make another one just like that. All right, just need to add some threads on these bad boys. They're a little shy. All right, got 2 parts now. All right, so just mocking this part up here, and let's see if you can see that. So just mocking this up. Now I'm gonna machine this. Since this engine casting is more than likely aluminum, I don't want to put steel right up against it. I would, because this block is going to be right up against the casting, and it's going to be kind of holding it down, pinching it down. I don't want to break the casting. I want to kind of match the softness. So I'm using 6061 aluminum, and we're just going to machine this part. So just got to machine this out, and then machine the hole here, and then machine the top so it fits in kind of like an L, and then a hole in the end for this. All right, just gonna touch off here. All right, guys, so got those parts notched out there. Now I gotta mill the top off, just to give it a little less profile. And back in there. Mill the top off, get a little less profile, put the through hole for the bolt, and then cut it in half and put the hole in it for the bolt on the machine. This is how these look. So that block is going to receive onto the end of this bolt right here, and be able to push that forward. And yeah, so that's what it's looking like so far. So that's going to be it for part 3.